What is up? My name is Cooper Neal. That is Jaret Bennett, and we love drafts. And I feel like this is the perfect time to start talking about early mock drafts, early draft boards, all of the above, because we are getting into playoff NFL, playoff college football, or championship at this point in college football, but all of the above. Conference play has started in college basketball, which is beautiful because you're getting to
Yeah.
see competition versus competition. But Jaret, how you doing?
I'm doing so much better than I was last week.
Yeah, you are.
The back is healed, mostly. I can sit here for an hour and I'll be able to walk back up stairs afterwards. So we're cooking here. We're good. I don't think I've ever watched more college basketball in such a short period of time than I have in the last week or two since college play has gone up and I started doing the watch list, and now it's just I haven't done it for the last couple of days. You probably noticed that, and it was just looking at it night and night, being like, "Gosh, I don't have the willpower to
Yeah.
type all that in."
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's been
college
fun.
basketball has definitely turned up. Yeah. I mean, it's been incredible from I feel like even our quote unquote game of the week with Texas Tech
Hmm.
Houston. I mean,
Fun game.
10 other games you could have picked that would have been equally as impressive as that game. Like, I mean, college basketball has hit conference play, which means we've hit the bright spot of college basketball season. You're getting to see guys play against, I mean, I hate to say comparable, but like you're getting to see guys that are equal competition, which makes basketball just more fun in every aspect of the word. But Jared and I both came with our top 10 draft boards. This is going to fluctuate. We're probably going to get to April and it's going to be completely different, which is the beauty of draft boards, especially coming with one this early. But we're coming with top 10s today. We're going to start from 10 and go all the way down to 1. We're going to give reasons why we have this player at whatever number they're at. And then we'll, at the very end, we'll hit a little bit of the NFL draft because obviously the top 20 picks are set in stone now with the Panthers losing. Shout out to my Panthers. They fought the good fight, but they were never going to win. Obviously, the Packers losing in the way that they lost. And then you have the Chargers. Chargers got a lot to work on.
This is starting to become a pattern for Herbert.
0-3. He's looking more and
0-3.
more like Andrew Luck. I know all the social media has been trending like he is Andrew Luck, but it's definitely getting that way. But we'll see. But Jaret, I'm gonna let you start with your 10, and we'll
And
just go
we'll
down
keep
the
track of
board
these. We might use this to create a kind of a consensus board between us as we go along.
for sure. For sure.
If we might do 11 through 20 on a later date.
I have
I'll
15.
start with my. I could have gone up to 20 pretty quickly. It starts to go quick once you get to just the point where you stop caring really and just lump them onto a tier.
Fair.
My number 10 was kind of in that next tier. I went through 1 through 9 pretty quickly. I got LeBaron Philon from Alabama as my number 10. He's been a super stout defensive guard this year. Really, you love the defensive intensity he's shown. He's also scoring 21 points a game and 5 assists on pretty good efficiency. Shot the ball well. Not as well as you'd like to see from a potential top 10 pick. 36% from 3, 75% from the line, around there. But the defense is encouraging. You can make a comparison to a poor man's Drew Holiday, and maybe he becomes a Drew Holiday, in which case, awesome pick. I compare him right now as a realistic option to Cason Wallace, who's become a big part of that Thunder's team. Just a super solid guard that can defend and pass the ball and shoot the ball decently.
LeBaron Philon literally was my number 11. And I mean, you saw what Cason Wallace did for the Thunder last year. And then he obviously entered the season. He had a little bit of injury. And then Quay Mitchell, I believe I'm saying that name right.
AJ Mitchell.
AJ Mitchell. I don't know why I said Quay. But he came in. You see the like type of guard that the Thunder are going for. LeBaron Philon, I loved him a lot, but he just barely missed.
He fits that a lot. And the thing is, we're talking about his defense, and he's averaging 21 points a game right now.
Yeah, on like 37% for 3.
I think he
ridiculous.
has my comp is Cason Wallace, but I can see him being a lot more than that.
Yeah,
and by the way, Cason Wallace could probably be a lot more on a different team.
Fair.
But that's the thing is I think he's really good. He's about 6'4". He's a little skinny right now. He's about 175 pounds.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him put on some weight.
I think that is going to be a theme with like the guards in this draft. A lot of them are skinnier, and we'll have to like have that year of where they put on muscle and like actually develop into like human beings. Because at the end of the day, I literally wrote down the age of like every player on my top 10, and there's only 2 that are above the age of 21. Like we're getting to the point now where you're like, you have to sit there and realize like people aren't adults yet. Like, so you have to like take a step back and be like, all right, they're 210 now, but they could be 235 and still play at the same level that they're playing at.
All these guys you can expect 10 to 15 pounds probably pretty quickly into their career.
Yeah, for sure. Liberian Fallon, as I said, he literally just missed my top 10. My number 10, and you're probably going to laugh really hard, but it's Hans Steinbeck. 6'11", 220, 19 years old. He's averaging 18 and a half points per game, 11 rebounds per game, almost 2 assists per game, which I think that's more critical than anything that I've mentioned so far, is the fact that he is a willing passer as a big man. But 58% from the floor. Obviously, he does not shoot enough threes to where I would sit there and like actually debate his 3-point percentage. But the one thing I will say that Hans can improve on as he goes into this Big Ten stretch is the blocks. I don't think he's shown that I'm a like elite defensive player at the center position.
I don't think he's that.
I don't either.
What he does well is he rebounds super well. He puts the ball back in the basket really well, which is going to have its own value. Correct. There's some real all-star potential. I'll save my thoughts on Hans Steinbeck for a little bit later.
Was he higher? Oh, I love that.
He may be higher.
Look,
I have him as one. I'll just say this: I have him as one of the best players in college basketball so far this year, even though Washington's not very good.
No. Washington is not good at all, but he is so good.
He's been super productive.
Even when they play in like competition that's significantly better than Washington has to present, he has improved and impressed every step of the way. He's only 19. Like, that's the thing with like a lot of these prospects. I sit there and I'm like, golly, like 4 years from now, they're going to literally be so much better than they are now.
Steinbeck is 6'11", 220 right now. Is he going to be like 250, 260? He
has to be.
In a few years, he looks like he's going to fill out. He looks bigger than 220.
He plays bigger than 220.
He plays real big. He's so strong for his weight. And clears guys out.
The way he rebounds is absurd. Like, it's ridiculous. And I mean, I love him for different reasons than just the fact that the stats prove that he is better than he is. Mm-hmm. But like he has a shot. Like, I don't look at the 3-point percentage as much as I look at the free throw percentage. Him shooting almost 78% from the free throw line as a big man, 6'11", that tells me he at least has a shot to work with. And like Zach Edey came into the league and everybody was like, he can't shoot a 3. And the Grizzlies immediately forced him to shoot a couple threes. And Zach Edey's been impressive from the 3-point line because he has a shot to work with. And I think the free throw line, as far as bigs, is a much better like motive to look at than is their 3-point percentage. Because 99% of the time, half these guys are just like, I'm bigger than everybody. I'm just going to go to the rim. Hans Steinbeck is a rebounder and he's not going to shy away from that. So I love Hans Steinbeck, and he is my number 10.
I think it's fair. I think that's reasonable for him. I think that's where kind of consensus people have him around. I'll go with my next guy. I got Yaxel Lindeborg as my number 9 prospect. Older guy. He's about to be 24 years old, or he's 23. He might be 24 by draft time. I haven't checked that for sure. Super productive in every aspect of the game. He's 6'9", 3/4 with 240 pounds with a 7'4" wingspan. He's massive. He can handle the ball. He can pass the ball. He rebounds well. He defends well. He can shoot the ball. He can kind of do a little bit of everything. I don't view him being a major superstar, but he will be a productive player in the league. I'm very confident in that. He has the build for it. My comp for him is Miles Bridges minus the you-know-what. He's stellar. He kind of does a little bit of everything, and he's going to help somebody. I think he fits pretty much everywhere in the league, and he just, like Miles Bridges, he's going to average, 15, 7, and 4. I think that's very doable for him with like 3 stocks, and you don't have to deal with the issues of what with Yaxel Lindeborg, I assume. So I think that's a win of a pick if you get that type of production at that part of the draft.
Hold on, I'm trying to contain myself. I have Yaxel Lindeborg higher, so I wholeheartedly agree.
I think he's one of the 5 best players in college basketball right now.
Well, I don't disagree. I think he has easily been top 5, top 6. And it's just he understands his role. I know I like say it all the time, and it's like such a cliche at this point, but like understanding the fact that there's not going to be a superstar pick at every single pick. Like sometimes guys are coming in the league and they're going to be a role player. Like that's just the role that they're going to play. I mean, there's so many guys that we can point at that have had an NBA career of being a role player and successful in it.
There will be guys that we probably don't have in either of our top 10s.
Yeah.
Like Ament, like Mikal Brown. You might not have him in your top 10. Who have legitimate potential to be superstars.
Yeah.
But I think the buzz potential is really high with those. And if you're a team that doesn't need a superstar, go take a guy that's going to be a really good NBA player. And
Yeah.
that's what, guys like Lindeborg are probably like, I don't see him missing.
No. I don't.
I thought he should have been drafted last year in the top 20
Yeah, you've said that.
at minimum. Like, I
Yeah.
loved him coming to draft last year because the numbers he was putting up at UAB, I'm like, guys, don't just put up those numbers if you're a bad player. And
For
UAB
sure.
was playing good at the American Conference, which isn't an amazing conference, but it's legitimate It's not like he was playing at like, Alcorn State or something. He was playing against teams like Memphis and UTSA, like teams that exist
Yeah.
in the basketball world. Like,
For sure. No, I think like the beauty with like Yaxel Lindeborg is like the fact that he was averaging, I think 19 to 20, something like that last year. And his stats have not decreased to the point where you're like, oh, the competition is like hurt him so bad where he's not a good player anymore. No, he's doing the same thing, but with Michigan, a team that outside of like 3 or 4 games this year has not played their entire starting unit in the second half. I mean, I know I was texting you when they lost their first game to Wisconsin because I was like, what is happening? How is Wisconsin in this game at all?
Michigan
But
doesn't shoot the three ball very well. Wisconsin
no.
shot lights out.
Well, and they shot incredible, and they have not done that all year. But also, I watched Yaxel in that entire game. He was defending so well, and he was doing everything he needed to do to try to win that game. It just didn't. It didn't matter. Wisconsin was playing their best ball.
And again, like, we assume like an upperclassman prospect is probably they don't have the body maybe for the NBA. 6'9" 3/4, about 6'10", with a 7'4" wingspan, 240 pounds, and he plays like a wing. That dude's gonna be good in the league.
No, he's going to be awesome. I mean, look, if Santi Aldama has a career in the NBA, Yaxel Lindeborg has a career in the NBA. I mean that with all sincerity, as much as I crap on Santi Aldama. He's been one of the best players on the Memphis Grizzlies this year. But like, he's literally the same size as Santi, but he plays in a completely different way, and he plays more Brandon Clark-esque. And Brandon Clark, outside of injuries, has had a phenomenal career. I'm not saying he's going to be Brandon Clark. Like, I think he's actually going to be better than Brandon Clark. But he does enough things to win basketball games. Like, he goes out there every day trying to win the basketball game. He doesn't care what his ending stat line looks like. He wants to win. And I think that alone, like, as much as we
what
joke
teams
about
are going to love about him is that he fits in every lineup in the league right now.
Correct.
Right? There's not like a downside to him, like, oh, he's under. Like, no, you can play him as a small ball 5 if you want to. 240 pounds, nothing to sneeze about. He can shoot the 3 ball at least well enough where you're going to have to guard him out there. Like, he passes the ball well, he defends super well. So he's going to be on the court. And we talked before about, like, what's the biggest barrier to some guys' development is they just can't get on the court. This guy will be on the court. And he might take a bigger jump than people expect him to be because he's going to be playing.
Yeah.
And I could very easily see a team like the Thunder, who have no need to make a swing pick on a Brown or an Ament, with one of their lottery picks saying, we'll just take Lindeborg, and he'll be in our rotation next year.
You took the words right out of my mouth, because as much as you and I joke about Jalen Williams from Arkansas, not the Jalen Williams from Santa Barbara, the Jalen Williams from Arkansas. One. Yeah, the one that's not good at basketball, but he does enough things to help them when he's on the court. Lindeborg's significantly better than him. And if they took a chance on him, like, they literally, I mean, that's perfect plug and play. Like, I think he is the prime guy where you're looking at and you're like, his floor is good enough to win me basketball games. His ceiling, obviously, he's not going to propel into what these other guys are.
His floor is enough. A playoff rotational player.
Yep.
Which might not sound like much, but that's a bigger deal than most guys' floors, like actual floors.
Yeah.
Like, he'll be a difference maker for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously we took that enough time because I have him on my top 10. He's just obviously not my number 9. My number 9 is Darius Acuff. I fell in love with this dude. He's probably not going to be in your top 10, but he's 6'3", 190. 19 years old. He's averaging 20 points per game, almost 6 assists, two turnovers, which I think for college, 6-2 turnover ratio, assist to turnovers is pretty dang good. And he's shooting it, I mean, almost, it's 42 and a half. Like, he is elite when he is on. And I think some team's going to luck into a guy like Darius Acuff, and they're going to be really proud of what they got.
There's real superstar potential with Darius Acuff. He reminds you look comparisons. This isn't my comp for him, but there are people who said like a Brunson, Halliburton type guy who got taken later in the draft, but they control their own pace. They can get to their spots and score.
Yep.
He does that. He can play make. He can shoot the ball. he gets to the basket really well because he's really freaking strong.
He's so good.
Dude's got some guns on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Acuff a lot.
No, I mean, every time you look at him, you're like, who's supposed to stop him?
Yeah,
like
he's
in
looking
college
like, who's
basketball,
that dude?
yeah, who's supposed to stop this guy in college basketball? I mean,
Yeah.
I've watched him 3 or 4 times now, and I'm like, every time I'm like, I get he might not be having a good scoring night or like as far as shooting efficiency goes, but like every time I'm like, who is standing in front of him and stopping him from getting to where he wants to go on the court? Like I think there's going to be a team. I don't necessarily know like a specific team in my head who's going to luck into Darius Acuff, but I think Darius Acuff is a ball player, and I think he's going to be a dang good one at that. And I mean, if John Calipari's proved us anything, he puts guards in the league, and they tend to become really good guards in the league. So I like Darius Acuff a lot. That might be more. I've seen like 3 or 4 games of him, and he's been awesome in those 3 or 4 games. So it's like elevating his.
He's been kind of awesome in every game.
Top 10, but exactly. Like I mean, I sit there, and I'm like, how am I not supposed to love this guy? Like this guy proving that he is awesome every turn. Darius Acuff's my number 9, but who you got at number 8?
The number 8, we already talked about him. I got Hannes Steinbach. I like him a lot. There's something to be said about a guy who just rebounds everything.
Yeah,
that's a guy who can turn a game. That's become a new kind of skill as the traditional 5 comes back. Is people are like, well, we can just dominate the boards.
Yep.
And teams start doing that. Think a potential for like a Jalen Duren from Hannes Steinbach. That's high upside.
Love him.
I got him as more realistic, and what I see him as now, and he could take a bigger leap to what this guy became, is a early tenure with the Indiana Pacers, Domantas Sabonis. Before he took that real playmaking leap that he did, of just a guy, not a major defender, in the right spots, but not a great defender, but just strong as an ox, grabs every rebound and puts the ball in the basket after that. And that's going to help somebody. Someone might look at a potential really for a real star at the center. Think of how the Rockets got Sengun so late in the draft. And people were saying like, well, he was dominant in the post, but we don't do that anymore. He's a dominant rebounder, but we don't really need that anymore. And look how that's turned out for them. Yeah. I think he could be really, really good.
Well, you've said it 1,000 times. Like, we're getting back to the traditional centers. It's just the centers, but with passing. And so like you're getting to the elevation of like what the 2009s to 2015 centers used to look like. And I think Steinbach is awesome. I mean, yes, he's playing for not a very good college basketball team, but like at the end of the day, you look at him and you're like, he's huge. I get the numbers say he's what, 6'11", 220. He looks huge. Like he looks imposing. And if you get him into your system, you're like, we can develop him into like to be an awesome center. I'm not saying he's going to be Rudy Gobert, DPOY type center. Yeah, but early Sabonis is a beautiful comparison because he can do all those things. And what's to say he doesn't develop into a guy that can average 5 assists?
Exactly. I think outside of the top 5 guys in this draft, you're taking chances on potential superstars. And we're also taking into account probably a realistic evaluation of them. And I think realistically, he's probably just a good player. But there's going to be a chance for him to really like explode and really put up some big numbers and provide some real value.
I agree.
If he develops. Right now, we're talking about development guys. You know, are they good? They're good now. Can they become superstars? I think they have the potential to become superstars. There's probably about 15 guys I'm confident are good. Now we're starting to get into guys that I'm confident are good. I think they have the potential to be really, really, really good.
No, and I mean, I think every guy we've talked about so far, 19, 18. Like we're talking about guys that literally I'm 7 years older than these dudes. Like they have so much to go. I mean, like it's one of those things that like everybody in this draft, I feel like this draft is so good, but it just matters the situation that they go into. And that leads me into a not so young guy. My number 8 is Joshua Jefferson. I've only watched 2 games of him, but God, I love him. He does not care. He does not care who's defending him. He doesn't care who's on the floor. This dude is like, my team's better than you. We're going to do what we want to do against you. He's 6'8", 240, but he is 21 years old. So a lot of teams he's obviously going to fall in the draft. He's not going to be a top 10 pick. I can go ahead and say that he's not going to be a top 10 pick because the NBA does not value guys that just consistently do good things on the basketball court. They value I can project this guy to be this. He's going to fall probably in the 13 to 25 range. I don't necessarily know where, but somewhere in there.
First, probably.
Yeah. He will be somewhere in there, but 6'8", 240, 17 and a half points per game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Who does that sound like? That sounds like Draymond Green when he came in the league. And Draymond Green, when he came in the league, people forget that he could shoot the three, he could shoot a mid-range, and he was a dominant player.
I averaged 14 a game, actually. People forget that.
Yeah, like, and I know Draymond's turned into this guy where he only rebounds, he only defends, and he only passes to Steph Curry. Before that, he was shooting at like 35% from three. I don't necessarily know if that was as high as he shot, but like
he got even higher, actually.
He might have been higher, exactly. And like, I'm not saying that Joshua Jefferson's going to be shooting 35% from three, but no, I think he's capable enough where he's gonna take somebody off the bounce, he's gonna bully ball somebody, and he's gonna rebound his heart out, and he's gonna play his butt off because he is a hustler, and he does not care who's in front of him. And honestly, I think you can see a theme with the guys that I put in my top 8. Like, I love guys that hustle, and I love guys that do not care who's guarding them. They just go at the rim, and they're like, I'm gonna beat you at what you think you're good at. And that's Joshua Jefferson, and that's why he's number 8. He's not number 8 on anybody else's board but mine.
I probably have him somewhat high. I don't have him in my top 10. And it was mostly because I struggled to see – I could see him carving out maybe a Draymond role of just like third guy on a really good team that really makes an impact.
Yeah.
I think he's a very good basketball player, though. I think he's been one of the best players in the country so far. He should be really high on any Wooden odds, I think. And something to be said, I think he's playing for – the team with my money has been the best defensive team in the country in Iowa State. He is kind of the anchor of that defense. He just fills up the box score.
Yeah.
And guys who do that find a place in the league. The low side is probably Trace Jackson Davis, who's, by the way, in the league. But also, he's way more aggressive than him.
He reminds me of Brandon Clark when Brandon Clark wasn't dealing with injuries every 5 seconds.
Yeah, and I think he can still do a little bit more than that. And I think he'll find a way in the league. Is he possibly a small 5 and then therefore, ends up more in the 6-man role? Possibly. It depends probably on the team for him. He'd be a great fit as the 4 in New York. Next to Karl Anthony Towns, and he
would thrive in New York.
He'd be great there. I think he's one of those. He might not ever be an all-star. No. He might not.
He doesn't have to be.
He might, but I think if we're betting on him, this is why, to me, you draft to get guys who can help you win a championship. I could very easily see him being a guy that helps a team win a championship.
You put him next to Josh Hart,
it's wise
OG Anunoby. Oh my gosh.
It's wise, I think, to draft guys who you're probably not going to have to pay $35 million for a losing team. And I don't see you ever having to pay Joshua Jefferson $35 million. He's probably a guy who's going to be in the high-end $15 million for him.
15 at most.
But impactful for what he gets paid.
Yeah.
And I think there could be a lot of wisdom to that as far as we're not going to draft for a guy who's going to average 20 and then therefore get paid $35 million.
Yeah. Well, you've also heard me say so many times that I value so much a guy that just knows his role. Like, I value so much just a guy that's going to come in and be like, all right, I'm not the superstar. I don't care. I want to win because I'm competitive and I hate losing. I'm going to go out and do what I'm going to do. Yeah. And that's Joshua Jefferson, which is
I think he's a culture. I think he's a culture shifter for somebody too.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love Joshua Jefferson. I can't talk enough about him. Also, 2.5 stocks per game. Come on, I love him. He moved up my board quickly after watching that Baylor game.
Man, he kicked our rear ends.
He killed y'all.
Just killed us.
Yeah,
and you're saying you're going after Najee. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Look, we're going to bring in our other big who's been pretty good. He's going to kill him too because he's just going to bull moose charge at him, and they can't really do anything but foul him or let him score.
Anytime they handed him the ball, I was like, all right, it's a foul or it's a bucket. I don't care.
Yeah, it's terrifying to play against.
Yeah, he's so good. And I will mention, I had Momcilovic and their point guard. I'm blanking on his name. Lipsy. I had both of them in my next 7 out.
Maybe I like them all.
I like them all. They're all so good, and it's just hard to project where they're going to be because it's one of those things that team is so good.
People are like, well, they're just going to be average players. I'm like, well, they also defend super well, and look who just won the championship with guys like, Lou Dort and Caruso as the driving forces.
Yep.
Outside your stars.
And then Momcilovic is shooting 50% from 3, so you can't deny that. Yeah. You can't deny that.
And he gets it there, and he gets it done in the mid-range too. I think he could be way more than just a shooter.
Yeah. We're projecting a floor of
Duncan Robinson.
Like Duncan Robinson. Yeah, we're projecting a floor of Duncan Robinson, who is literally valued so much that they paid him $18 million with the Miami Heat. Now, granted, they got rid of him because he stopped doing what he was good at, but Momcilovic is
Well, he's
better
back to
than
doing
Duncan
what he's good
Robinson. Yeah.
All right. I'll move. We could do my number 7 kind of quickly. I got Darius Acuff as my number 7. I think he's great. Every time I've looked down, he's got 20 points and almost 10 assists and very few turnovers. And then I just saw him on the court, and he looks like a mini Desmond Bain with just how jacked he is. My comp for him is Baron Davis. Baron Davis was as a point guard, like 6'3", 210. I could see Acuff filling out even more and being like that. Good shooter, could finish at the basket and play make for others. I almost wanted to go, like I thought about like a Colin Sexton, but he's a way better playmaker than Sexton is.
Yeah.
Though a similar
bill, but Sexton more relies on like defense and three points. Like that's all Sexton does. Like I feel like Sexton's like the microwave, like you hope and pray like he makes the first shot so that he can score 15 to 18. And then outside that he's just gonna defend his butt off because he wants to win. Acuff is filthy.
And he just looks cool and composed always. And it's just like, all right, I'm down with this dude. I think he could be. I would not be shocked if he's the best point guard in this class.
He's not going to be, but I agree with that statement.
I have a guy higher than him. But I would not be shocked if this guy's an all-star in the slightest. I would not be shocked. He kind of screams, similar to Baron Davis, best player on like a 7 or 8 seed. That the fans absolutely adore, and it's an underdog team. You know what? I think that's fine.
Hey,
and that's a good result.
This could be your Grizzlies soon.
Yeah.
Needing a guy that's
I would not mind us taking Darius Acuff to be our next point guard.
No, I would not.
I think he fits. He's a hard-nosed guy. Could be a big culture guy.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, Darius Acuff was number 9, and I tried to put him higher, but I just love Joshua Jefferson and the guy that I'm about to name so much more. Every time I look up, it doesn't matter who they put in front of him. He is absolutely dominating the opponents, and we're getting into the point where SEC play is playing the best of the best. Granted, I will say this, the SEC is not as good as they were last year.
They're not, and yet they're still the best conference in college basketball for my money.
Thank you. Because it doesn't matter who's in front of him.
Wow.
And Arkansas has played ridiculous competition.
Top to bottom, SEC is the best conference. Big 12 has the best teams in the country. They have Arizona and Iowa State.
Yeah, and you're also just saying that because they have BYU and Kansas, which have
they have BYU and Kansas. And they have Houston.
Yeah.
Okay,
Big 12 is better. We'll give you that.
The top of the Big 12 is better than the top of the SEC. I think the bottom of the Big 12 is kind of rough. Shout out Baylor.
I think the bottom of the Big 12 would still be probably Ole Miss.
You're right. And I think we'd kill LSU.
Oof. I think you and I need to watch that LSU Ole Miss game in like full just to see how bad it is.
We should live stream that one.
We should. Ooh, great idea.
Our reaction to just whatever that garbage is.
That game's going to be terrible.
Oh, horrible.
My number 7 is going to be pretty easy to talk about. It's Yaxel Lindeborg. I have him number 7. I love him. And I've told you, I think I've said this every time we've talked about Yaxel. He just does winning basketball. Every time. Like, I watched them. They lost the game to Wisconsin. He was out there defending every step of the way. He was out there trying to set screens, do whatever he wanted to win that game. It's just Michigan came up short because they've kind of gotten to the point now where they stopped defending the 3 so much because they know they're better, like personnel wise, than the other team, and they think they can just beat them if they just give up a bunch of 3s. Wisconsin just shot him out of that game. And but Yaxel just played his butt off. And I just love guys that have that competitive edge that are just going to do whatever they can to try to win a basketball game, which is why he's number 7 on my board. He's 6'9", 230. Like, he will fit into any team. Like, all 30 NBA teams can have a spot for Yaxel Lindeborg. And technically his numbers are down from UAB, but he was the number 1 option at UAB. He's not the number 1 option at Michigan, which doesn't matter because he still is awesome.
Well, I'd say the one knock anyone could have on Michigan is they don't really have any number 1 option. They don't really have anyone who can get their own shot per se.
Yeah.
That's kind of the one thing is like when it comes down, sometimes in college basketball, you need you guys to just chuck 3s and it goes in.
Yeah,
and they'll lose a couple games because they don't have that guy.
And I will say
they'll probably finish like 30-3.
And Michigan will also probably lose in like the Elite 8, Sweet 16, just because they're going to come up against a guy that is just the guy on their team, and he's going to have 36 on them. and there's not
Jack
going to be able to
Golke's
stop
going to
it.
roll up and just bomb 10 threes on their rear ends and just,
Why did you go that guy?
You remember Jack Golke?
I remember him.
He was awesome.
Kentucky. And was he on OKC's G League team?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. I remember.
I love just looking at his stat line for the year. It was like 10.7 field goal attempts a game, 10.2 3-point attempts per game.
all his points came from threes.
Yeah.
He did nothing but shoot threes.
No.
But you gotta love that. I mean, again, they're gonna come up against a team that's gonna have a guy like that. Not necessarily Jack Golke, but like they're gonna come against a team that has a guy like that, and they're probably gonna lose. I don't expect Michigan to win the championship. If I had to put my money on a championship team, it's Iowa State easily.
Iowa State or Houston to me right now.
Yeah, because I've seen both of those teams play elite competition and just annihilate them. Like Kingston Fleming's against Texas Tech.
It's one of those where it's like, whoo.
Yeah.
All right. That's.
Which he's coming up, but.
Yeah. I just thought of another hot, this would be my ceiling for Yaxel Lindeborg. How do we feel about a Sean Marion comparison? As far as guy runs the floor, plays super hard defense, can be super impactful, in the right system can be an absolute superstar like he was, like Marion was in Phoenix.
Yeah, I don't hate it because
low end is a guy who contributes to a championship team.
Well, I was just editing all of our stuff that I was doing, the blind rankings and trivia for you, and obviously I had the point guards with Steve Nash and the fact that Steve Nash never won a championship, and we talked about Sean Marion. That's a beautiful comparison because Sean Marion did everything he wanted out of a role player, but Sean Marion just didn't understand you're a phenomenal top end of the line role player. You're not a superstar.
Sean Marion at one of those years, I have him as a top 5 player in the league. As a role, and he was a role player. Unfortunately, he thought he was more than a role player. And then, fun fact: the Suns, before they made the Shaq trade, had another deal in place to send Sean Marion actually to Minnesota for Kevin Garnett. The problem was Sean Marion quick sold Minnesota. I ain't re-signing there, and that deal was done.
Dude, could you imagine?
Yeah,
Steve
Garnett
Nash and
in
Garnett?
That offense.
Oh my god,
that would have been insane.
Oh, it would have been beautiful. I love Garnett. I love Garnett pre-Celtics, but because he was just an impeccable basketball player.
Garnett's probably the most. He might have been one of the most underrated players now of all time. Because I put him we compared Duncan and Kobe as the best players of that generation.
Garnett,
and I think Garnett's right in there with them. There's a couple years where Garnett in Minnesota is the best player in the league, and I don't think there's much argument against it. That 60-win team where they didn't they had Cassell and Sprewell.
No, nobody cares.
Those are good acquisitions, but the year before, they won 45 games. He also should win an MVP for that year, even though they didn't make the playoffs. They won 45 games with Wally Zerbiak as their second best player, who missed 30 games. Yep. And beyond that was Troy Hudson, who I know you don't know who he is, and Rasho Nesterovic, who you probably don't know. That was their team, and he won 45 games with that. And they were a plus 10 when he was on the court per 100 possessions, and a minus 20 when he was off the court.
No, KG was elite, which is why I'm shocked to this day that the Rajon Rondo, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, KG Celtics teams never won but one.
Yeah, they should have won more.
They should have won so much more. That team is stacked.
It's one of those things of the LeBron Heat came along.
Yeah.
And then it was just over. They had 08 to 2010, and it was they got in the finals twice. They went 1-1, and then
and I also feel even
they were old.
to the KG underrated. Rajon Rondo to this day, I feel never gets talked about.
People forget what Rondo was in Boston.
He was so good, and Ray Allen was coming from the Supersonics, where he was the number one, number two option to come be the number 3 or 4 option.
And even later. Team. That 01 Bucks team that Ray Allen was a part of, where he was the number 1, that lost in 7 games in the conference finals to the Sixers, the Iverson Sixers. And lost by 1 point or something like that.
Yeah. No, that's
Celtics how good Ray Allen was.
Which, probably more an indication of Doc Rivers being a terrible basketball coach when it comes to the playoffs. But that's for another day. But those Celtics teams with KG and all those guys, I forever will love those teams. But who you got at number 6?
We got sidetracked a bit there, and this might be showing a little bit of my bias. This will be evidenced by my hat here. I got Tunde Yesufu as my number 6. I think we're dealing with. I was first looking for guys with, I think, real upside that could be stars. And before I got to guys I'm super confident in, Yesufu could not pan out. I think that's possible. He's averaging 17.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and almost a block. He's not shot the ball great from three, but I've watched him shoot it. He can shoot the three pretty well. He can get his own shot. I think there's a high end, like he could be a top scoring guard in the league, like an Anthony Edwards type. That's not where I have him as like my realistic option, but I'm going to compare him to a guy who I also think has that opportunity that hasn't panned out. But I think this will be the same. This is the same prospect of this guy could work out. We'll see what's going on upstairs. And I compare him to Benedict Mathurin as a guy who I think has a real opportunity to be a superstar with the talent that he has. I don't think it's quite clicked for him yet, maybe, but I think there's a real opportunity for him to be really good. He defends well. He can score the ball well. He could come in the right opportunity. He could be a real superstar. And I think, depending on the team, that could be worth a swing. And I like his downside because he defends well, because he shoots well, because he scores well. Don't think there's a whole lot of downside. I think realistically, Mathurin's probably the option who's a 20 game off the bench scorer. So
yeah. Honestly, I love the Mathurin comparison. I didn't have Yesufu or Cam Carr in my top 10 strictly because I've only watched one Baylor game, and it was that Iowa State Baylor game.
Yeah, that's not a good game to watch for any Baylor
Correct.
guy.
Yeah. And I also, like you and I have talked about a bunch, like the fact that Baylor, despite the fact that they might have like a top 10 guy, they don't play like that. They play a system, and it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to fit in that system. And if you're Yesufu, I feel like you've kind of fallen behind a Cam Carr who, like, Cam Carr is good, but I don't think Cam Carr is a lottery pick. Like, I think Cam Carr is a good basketball player that if you luck into and he's in the right system, he will be awesome. But Yesufu is the guy that, like, if you get him and you can develop him, he will be ridiculous. Yesufu was on my outside looking in. It's just I will admit, like, the guys that are on my top 10 is guys I've at least seen multiple games of. Guys I've at least seen, like, okay, I see what I
think that's fair. What I'm valuing is because I've seen so many good point guards this year that I think can be starting NBA point guards, because I think there's a number of centers you can find. To me, the value is going to be in finding a wing that could be really good. We've seen like the Grizzlies find, guards and centers. What's the position the Grizzlies have never been able to find? Is that small forward.
Hey.
Until now.
Yeah.
Which is why, like,
I
think you take those swings, before you get to the point in the draft where either you're point guards, undersized point guards, or slow centers, or guys with the not ideal positional size.
Yeah.
So that's why I have them pretty high. I
might have them higher than I have them right now. It's just I have only watched one game, and that game was dominated by Joshua Jefferson.
Yeah, and to be clear, Baylor would be a very good team if a certain individual didn't screw them over before the season began and transfer after telling him he was going to stay. And
who's that?
That's Rob Wright for BYU, because Scott Drew has always run a point guard centric, system. Yeah. Scott Drew develops point guards. That's kind of what he's known for. Somehow Ray J. Dennis is on a 2 with the Pacers. That guy's one of the worst players I've ever seen. But he develops them. Keontae George is starting in the league. And that's what they have no offensive creation from anybody on that team.
Yeah.
That's why Iowa State obliterated them, because they can just pressure the ball. It's like what the Thunder did to the Grizzlies when Ja went down. They can just pressure the crap out of it. You can't handle it because you don't have a point guard.
Scottie Pippen was awesome in that series, and I'm so ready for Pippen to be back.
Unfortunately, Pippen's not like an elite level ball handler. That's not going to turn the ball over.
He's a six man to backup point guard.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And he was acting as our starting point guard, and he was awesome.
Exactly.
Probably because Jaret was bad too, but you didn't hear that.
Don't worry. He might be getting traded too.
He's going to be traded, and I'm going to have to refix the entire background wall behind me when the entire Grizzlies jerseys that I have are traded, because I have a Desmond Bane jersey that I can't use anymore because it's a Grizzlies Desmond Bane. And eventually my jaw's going to be obsolete. My Ja's shoes are going to be obsolete. And my Jaren's going to be obsolete. But no, I don't disagree with you with Yesufu. It's just I've only seen one game, so I didn't have enough to go off of to where I felt confident putting in my top 10, which is indicative of why my top 10 is my top 10. Because my number 6 is Koa Pete. I've only watched 2 or 3 games, but he's steady. And I know that that term comes across as like such a knock in the face. Having a steady guy that comes in and does what he does and does it efficiently and does it correctly is critical in NBA basketball. And I think Kobe Pete's going to fit in nicely anywhere. I just think Brandon Clark's probably my floor. He's very similar. Like, I know I use that term.
You've given a Brandon Clark comparison to a lot of guys so far.
Well, it's because Brandon Clark literally does something that every NBA team needs. Granted, excluding the injuries, offensive rebounding, hustling, lob threat, just running as a center. Like, I feel like pick and roll is such a dead thing in the NBA, including a couple of guys. Like, some guys just don't understand like I'm going to pick you and then I'm going to run immediately to the basket. Like, rim runners are coming like back into the fold, and I feel like just some guys just have no comprehension of what rim running means.
Yeah, and how important it could be.
Yeah,
Steve
exactly.
Nash. By the way, the prime broadcast of the NBA I love dearly. Steve Nash did a terrific breakdown on why guys need to roll hard to the rim and why rim running and what that can set up is. Well, now this guy has to come help and you open stuff up the quarter. That produces a lot. And you might not get the ball, but it produces stuff if you run hard.
And I think that's just such a critical thing. So like me saying floor of Brandon Clark is not a knock. It's honestly I'm giving you a high praise because I love Brandon Clark and I just wish he was healthy all the time, because every time Brandon Clark's on the court for the Memphis Grizzlies, we are a better basketball team because of it. And so Koa Pete, obviously 6'8", 235. He'll obviously continue to probably build into that mold. But 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, almost 57% from the floor. Not a good 3-point shooter, but I think he's
got a good mid-range, so there's potential there for that to improve.
But the 1.5 stocks, and he does not turn the ball over, mainly because he doesn't have the ball in his hands that often. But like, I just think his ability to be anywhere on the court when you need him to be on the court is such a crucial thing. And Arizona's the number 1 team for a reason. I'm not necessarily saying it's all because of Koa Pete, but like,
it's not. But
they're awesome because they have
he certainly helps them.
Yeah.
He lit the world on fire with his first game of the season against Florida. He dropped 30 points on them. And I mean, he was like, all right, dang.
He's awesome. Yeah.
I started my list with him at 6, and then I moved him down, and I moved him down, and I don't have him in my top 10. And he has struggled as a season. He's just kind of fallen off as the year's gone on, to where I'm like, I think he'll be good.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a superstar, but I probably have him 11 or 12.
I think based on the guys I've named Koa Pete, Yaxel Lindeborg, Joshua Jefferson, Hans Steinbach, and then obviously Darius Acuff. I can see Darius Acuff being a superstar. 4 of the 5 guys I've named are not going to be superstars in this league. They're going to be role players that can play for 10 seasons. Again, you're seeing what I value versus like a upside projection. I haven't watched enough college basketball to give you an upside projection of most of these guys yet. But
where I'm down on him is he's not an amazing rebounder for his size. I'd like to see him be dominant on that end.
Yeah.
And he's slowly fallen down to under 15 points a game as the season's gone on. And part of that's finding a role with this team. And he has filled a role, and he's been productive, and he's been good. And I could very easily see an Aaron Gordon outcome for him in the NBA.
That's good.
Which would be a great outcome.
Yeah.
I don't see all-star potential, and I think if you're picking at number 6 or really in the top, depending on the team, if you're picking in the top 6, you want some real star potential. I don't know that he has that.
I don't either. And I mean, honestly, my top 10 board is probably more of an OKC top 10 board.
Yeah.
Just because
I can see that.
I'm betting with house money at this point, and I just don't care.
Who's
I just want to get 6? Really good basketball
Like, if we're being real, it'll be the Wizards or something like that picking 6. Yeah. They'll fall all the way down to the lowest possible outcome, and they're going to see Kobe and be like, we'll take a swing on a Mikel Brown. I've tried to name guys I think who are smarter swings to take than Mikel Brown, but
yeah, I'm not in on Mikel Brown. He's shooting 26% from 3 after that first game. Like, he is another guy that after the first game, like, you were like, oh, Mikel Brown. And then you watch the rest of the game, and then you watch him get injured, and you watch Louisville be better without him, and you're like, oh, Mikel Brown.
I want to be clear. I don't have Mikel Brown in my top 10. I think he'll be a multi-time All-Star, and I don't have him in my top 10. because I think he'll be a multi-time All-Star on teams that win under 30 games.
He's gonna become
Like, I don't view him as a guy that helps you win.
yeah, he's gonna become the
I think he'll
Sharif
put up.
Abdul Rahim.
I gave him a LaMelo Ball comparison.
Oh, that's good.
I said he might average 30 for a bad team and just get in and people will love him. He's gonna hit some crazy shots.
Yeah.
Maybe he, it gets out of the play-in or something like that. Only if it's a good team. But I don't view him as someone you can win a championship with. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he grows up a little bit and, maybe he becomes a better defender. Or maybe he's becomes that good of a shooter where, like, it doesn't really matter what, we think about him personally. Yeah. But
we'll see.
I don't know. I have Kobe like 11, probably. Okay. He was the one I just kept being like, but he hasn't played that well lately. He's not been as impactful of guys as other guys who I think have made who made a statement.
I watched 3 Kobe games. One was the Florida game. One was the Alabama game.
I haven't watched him in a hot minute. I've just seen the numbers dip.
Yeah, and then I watched whoever Arizona played last because it was on the TV and I just had it on. And so I've watched the Florida game when he scored 30.
Yeah. At that one, I had him in my top, 4.
Yeah. So I'll be honest. Again, I made a list of guys that I've actually seen and I can actually talk about. So Kobe Pete probably is higher than I will eventually have him, but I didn't have anybody that I was like, yeah, he's better than Kobe Pete NBA wise. As far as my list goes, but I feel like the top 5 are going to be you and I are going to be pretty.
We have the same top 5. We'll see what the order is on these. At number 5, I have Caleb Wilson. I know that might be a little surprising. And I'm really high on Caleb Wilson. He consistently 20 and 10 as a freshman is ridiculous.
Absurd.
He's super impactful defensively. Do you have numbers on him?
I have. So he's 6'10", 215, 19 years old, 19.5 points per game, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 57.5% from the field. 3-point percentage is still.
He's not a 3-point shooter yet.
Yeah, he's not a 3-point shooter yet. 70% from the free throw line is a little bit encouraging, but 3 stocks.
Yeah, defensively he's awesome, and he gets it done with the post fades and stuff like that. People in his face, defense kind of doesn't matter. He had a stretch of 4 straight games with exactly 20 points.
Yep,
just remarkably consistent. Here's what he's going to do. Super high motor, big energy. I brought up a guy. We talked to him earlier, and I'm gonna make the comparison. This is high end outcome. Would be absurd, and you would draft the number 1 if this is the outcome. There's some Kevin Garnett comparison to be made. I doubt he becomes that good because I doubt anybody becomes that good. That's unlikely. Obviously, there'll be people who will be at that level, but I'll never make that claim. I view him more as a Scotty Barnes who can kind of who also I had that same feeling on. I was like, there's a chance he's that. But also because Kevin Garnett came in out of high school, he came in raw, and he had to develop into what he became in the NBA, that being that vocal of a leader and being able to do all those different things. He'll also have a long way to go to that. But I think, minimum, he's a super impactful player. His floor is, I think, Kobe Pete's ceiling. But that's why, I end up with Kobe Pete. I was I feel weird having him next to him because I think he's just vastly better.
I think that's a phenomenal comparison because I think we're getting into the conversation of these top 5 guys, wherever you have the top 5 guys. I have no doubt in my mind that they are going to be elite impact players in the NBA. I will go out and say that. I think the top 5 in this draft, hands down, will be elite in the NBA. Caleb Wilson is my number 4, but I see where you're coming at. I think he has all the makings of an impactful both defense and offensive player in the NBA. He rebounds his butt off, despite the fact that he's not height-wise, sure, he's big enough. Size-wise, he is not bigger than everybody that he plays against, and he rebounds his butt off, and he continues to average 20 points per game, which is crazy to do.
I can argue him over Boozer. The only reason I'm not is because Boozer can shoot the 3 right now.
And Boozer's awesome.
Boozer's really good.
My number 5 is a little different than you, and I have a feeling this player is probably going to be higher based on the fact that you have Caleb Wilson at 5, is Kingston Flemings. I've watched him enough to know that this dude's a dog. I don't care. But put anybody in front of him, he's going to bully them. He might be 6'4", 190.
He looks bigger.
He looks bigger. He's going to bully you. Golly. I mean, I see so much. I mean, I know you and I were both like George Hill is more of Christian Anderson to us, but like if his low end is George Hill, goodness.
George Hill was a really good starter for a long time.
Really good starter, really good role player for a really long time on those Bucks teams. I don't even see him as George Hill. I know you don't like Brandon Knight as much, but Brandon Knight at low end, I can see a De'Aaron Fox. You and I have talked about that a couple times. Like I see a lot of this dude, and I don't know whether or not it's just because I've watched really good basketball games of him, or whether it's just like he does not care. Like similar to what I mentioned with Joshua Jefferson, he didn't care who's in front of him.
Yeah.
He's going to do what he has to do to win a basketball game. He doesn't care who's in front of him. He's going to pick your pocket as in the almost 2.5 steals per game with a 6'4" point guard, points per game, 5.5 assists, not even 2 turnovers per game in college basketball, which college basketball, I feel like turnovers are wildly doubled for some reason, just because college basketball is stupid sometimes. I love Kingston Flemings, and I have him at number 5. And then obviously Caleb Wilson's my 4, so you can go.
I'm a huge fan of Kingston Flemings. I'll get to him.
Oh, he's higher?
He could be.
No, he's your number 4. Don't lie.
But I don't know. He might not be stoppable.
No.
And that's what I watched. I was like, his quickness is one thing, and his ability to get to the basket is one thing, which is already super impressive. How, like, moving at that size, he's 6'4", he looks 6'6". He's strong, he's super long, great positionless, and he is a true point guard at that size, which I think is great. And his ability to stop on a dime, though, that's what makes him, and he is automatic from that elbow. Just about. Like, he took over that game against Texas Tech. Because what he would do is he's either going to drive right past you, or he's going to, and you can hang on there and try to like sell out to stop the drive. But if you do that, he's going to stop on a dime and hit an elbow jumper from 15 feet.
Or he's going to drain a 3 in your face.
Like, yeah, and he did that too. And I think the shot needs work. It's kind of flat right now.
Yeah,
but
I think it'll come together.
Man, I think he's going to be really, really good.
So yeah. Kingston Fleming, number 5. Obviously, Caleb Wilson, my number 4. So who you got at your number 4?
My number 4. And I'm going to explain. Normally for a number 4, we'd explain why we're so high on a guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to explain why I'm not as high on this guy. I got Cam Boozer at number 4.
So Kingston Fleming's in your top 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason, and to be clear, I think Cam Boozer is the best college basketball player in the country right now. I think he's the Wooden Award frontrunner.
Yeah.
And the numbers are off the charts. He's really, really good. He's strong. I don't think and my comp for him is Paolo Banchero. I just view the other guys as having higher ceilings. I don't view him as an MVP level player at all. I think he's an all-star, all-NBA potentially, but I don't view him ever being a top 10 player, which is why I think I can confidently say he's probably going to be an all-star.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident he's an all-star level player. I think he's a little bit better than Banchero even.
I don't disagree.
As a prospect.
Yeah.
But the shot release is kind of slow. He doesn't really get to the mid-range that much. He kind of just bully balls his way to the basket. His passing, I think, is really impressive.
Yeah.
But now there's other guys that have proven themselves as passers up at the top of the draft to me. And that's, to me, what I gave him the edge as the number 1 guy for a little bit because they weren't doing that. And now there's other guys that do it well. And I think he's great. I just don't view him as an MVP level player, and I think the other guys can be.
So I'm gonna assume if you have Cam Boozer at 4, you have Kingston Fleming at 3.
You might be correct in that.
No way. Okay, all right. If you have Kingston Fleming above Darren Peterson,
I got Kingston Fleming at 3.
Okay. I figure that the reason I asked that is because I have Cam Boozer at 3. And he hasn't moved. I mentioned a couple times on the podcast that you might take him number 1. I don't disagree with you. I think if you're betting on highest floor, which again, it depends on who is picking in the top 3, 4 of this draft. If you're betting on highest floor, it's Cam Boozer. Cam Boozer is going to come in and do what he needs to do. He can be a number 2 option on a team. He can be a number 3 option on a team. If he needs to be a number 1, he can do that. I don't see him being an MVP level candidate like I see the top 2 players in this draft.
When we compare him to the other MVP level guys that are power forwards, he's not Giannis.
No, nowhere
near. No, he's not. He's more in that Banchero, maybe high in his Tatum-like.
I don't even see him being Tatum. I don't think he can get that.
I don't think he gets his shot off like that.
No.
So, well, I think he'll be great.
Yeah.
I think he'll be very productive. I just
It depends on
couldn't
the
justify. Yeah. I struggled. And to me, I was just like, picture, what they're going to look like in the NBA in my head. And I just couldn't put myself in a position where I'm thinking of a team of the championship game having Cam Boozer as their best player.
He's not going to be the best player on the
And
championship team.
And that's where I was like, and I don't know how the fit totally for him being the number 2 guy on a championship team. So I think there's some questions there, maybe with the right fit, but like, who's the co-star there? I don't know who exactly it'd have to be, unless, OKC just drafts him. But
I'll be honest, if OKC somehow lucks into a top 3 pick in this draft, I'm going to be ticked as an NBA fan.
Yeah, the league should just, rig it every other year. Rig it this year so they don't.
Yeah. I agree with you. I don't truly believe that he will be a number 1 or number 2 on a championship winning team. And that's not a knock. I mean, I can't lie and say the entire time I've been sitting here saying I want guys that are going to be able to do their role and do it well on a winning basketball team. I care about winning. I do not care what your counting stats are. I do not care what you believe you're supposed to be. There's a reason G.G. Jackson and John Moran have not worked on the Memphis Grizzlies. I'll say it. There's a reason, because both of those guys deem themselves as the number 1 option on a team that it's team basketball. There's 5 guys on the court at a time. I think Cam Boozer is a phenomenal basketball player. I think he's a little bit better than his dad, and that's saying a lot, because I think his dad was a really solid NBA player for a really long time.
I think he's a lot better than his dad.
That's fair. I wasn't going to say that, and you look at me like I was dumb, but he's better than his dad.
I'm confident he can fit into a system, because I've watched him, how quickly he moves the ball. He plays within an offense still. He can still do that while being that guy. I think he's great.
He's phenomenal, but I don't disagree with you. I could see. There's a reason he was not number 1 or 2 on my board. And it's because the number 1 and number 2 on my board are guys that I can see being faces of the NBA caliber NBA players.
Yeah.
That's the type of player we're talking about in this NBA draft. And Cam Boozer, while a phenomenal player, he's going to win Wooden Award. We can sit here and debate the entire podcast.
I don't have it as particularly close.
Yeah, he's going to win Wooden Award. It's not close. Darren Peterson battled injuries, and AJ DeBanza didn't start coming on until
DeBanza's closing the gap a little bit.
Yeah.
But even still, they're scoring. He's scoring just the same as Boozer, and Boozer's. The numbers are basically the same, except Boozer has like 6 more rebounds a game than him. It's like
Boozer's on a team that's higher ranked than BYU. That's
by a little bit.
Yeah,
by a little bit right now.
But no, I don't disagree with you. I think Boozer's going to get into the league. He's going to get onto a team, and whatever team gets him is going to be sitting there like, thank God we came out of this draft, and we will not have to worry about whether or not this pick is going to pan out. He's going to pan out.
Yeah,
that is.
If I had to make a prediction for Rookie of the Year, it'd be Cam Boozer as well.
Yeah.
Depending on where he goes. Whoever the Thunder take will not be the Rookie of the Year.
Screw the Thunder. I'm so glad that they're losing basketball games now. Granted, they should have lost to the Grizzlies recently, but
Tank is on. Tank is on.
Islo is cooking with the tank as far as coaching concerns. But no, I don't disagree with you. Cam Boozer was my number 3. So if you want to get into number 3 for your board.
Yeah, I got Kingston Flemings at 3. I just think he has way more upside. Not way more. I think he has more upside than Cam Boozer. I think he could be legitimately maybe the best guard in the league. I think I got De'Aaron Fox comp for him. I think that's legit. I think he's further along now than what De'Aaron Fox was coming out, and I thought De'Aaron Fox was really good coming out.
Yeah.
Because defensively, I think he's better, and De'Aaron Fox is a good defender. I think Flemings is an even better defender.
Flemings will put you in witness protection program.
We judge, like, the guards that pan out and that are elite players in the league are the ones that can change speeds on a dime. Flemings can do that at an elite level already. And, and guys that play at their own pace, and he still manages to do that. And he's wired differently. Speaking of just guys that are cool the entire game, I didn't see his face expression change all game long.
Yep.
The dude's just a dog. He battles you. I just can see him and this is the thing. Who can I imagine being the best player on a championship team? And I could see Kingston Flemings doing that.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. His floor is not as high as Boozer's, not even close.
No.
We said the George Hill thing. Maybe that's not it. I'm high on him where I believe this guy will be an all-star. And I've been wrong on some guards before. I had Davion Mitchell being better than he is, even though he's turned into a starting level point guard.
Yeah, Davion Mitchell is definitely since
But
King's
I had him as
Davion
a
Mitchell,
potential all-star. But
I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities.
maybe he keeps developing. I just had him shooting the ball better. And Kingston
Yeah,
Flemings has to develop a better three-point shot.
yeah,
It's pretty flat right now.
yeah.
It doesn't look pretty. He did hit it when it matters against Texas Tech,
It goes in.
right in their face.
I mean, poor Texas Tech. Texas
Yeah.
Tech had the lead the entire game, and Kingston Fleming said, "Nah, I ain't losing this." I love Kingston Fleming, and I don't disagree with you. He's number 5 just simply because I like you and I have talked a little bit about like the fact that I think point guards will be like one of those things where you can get any good guard off of college basketball team, and more often than not, you could probably make them work into what you need for a point guard in the NBA. So I had Kingston Fleming's a little lower. He is incredible, and I think 6'4", 190 is small for him. Like I think he plays like 6'7",
Yeah.
220. Like he does not care.
He plays big, and yeah, it's just, guys like that, just you can build around.
Yeah.
And part of it was I moved him up quick to number 5 because I had my top 4 for a while. I think there's been a general consensus top 4, and then he quickly after that game moved to the top 5, and then I just evaluated, was like, am I just moving to the top 5 because to 5th because he wasn't there before? And that's where I landed. I was like, I think that might be the only reason I have him 5, because I just thought, hey, he actually might be better than some of these guys, and I think I like him more.
He is better than some of these guys. Yeah. He's awesome.
So, yeah.
I don't disagree. Simply because you and I obviously have 1 and 2 with the same players. I'm curious to know your order of 1 and 2. So give me both 1 and 2. Obviously, you and I both have the same 2 players. So give me how you ranked them, because I'm curious to see
my number 2 is Darren Peterson. My number 1 is AJ Debanza.
See, and I'm opposite. I have AJ Debanza at 2, and I have Darren Peterson at 1. And I'll give you the reason why. AJ Debanza just hasn't shown me the 3 yet. I know he can shoot it. I know he can. I don't doubt that he can't. He just hasn't shown it. I think AJ Debanza is an athletic freak. I think he is a guard. I don't care what his size says at 6'8", 200. I don't care. He's a guard. And he will be a ridiculous guard in the league if a team realizes that. Because he's at 23 points per game with 4 assists. Like, put the ball in his hands and let him work. But the fact that Darren Peterson is shooting 42% from 3.
And that's why I went back and forth on it, is shooting the ball. My issue with Peterson, this is why I had Debanza over him. I think Debanza can improve enough as a shooter where he already gets where he wants on the court, because athletically he's on another planet as everyone else. We were both on our feet when we first saw that putback dunk he had.
He's had a couple of moments where I'm on my feet, so like AJ Debanza is ridiculous.
And I haven't seen Peterson truly just like blow by guys or athletically take over, to where I wonder, is he more just going to be a shot creator? I think both of them, if Debanza becomes a better shot maker or a better 3-point shooter, and if Peterson just becomes even more, shows more ability to get to the basket, I think they both have SGA upside, like MVP level upside to that. And those are, and it depends. My view is shooting can be taught at least to a decent level.
To an extent, unless you're John Morant.
Yeah. I still believe in his shot. I just also believe the ability to get to the basket whenever you want is so valuable in creating an offense.
Well, and I mean, I've told you numerous times the ability to just like, there's defenders on him, like expecting him to do one thing, and then he just starts and stops, and they're just like, all right, sorry, and I'm not. I'm gonna
start with my Peterson comp, because my Debanza comp's maybe my favorite comp I've ever come up with.
Okay,
I did see it somewhere, but then I really was like, oh, that's for sure what it is.
Yeah,
I'll say Peterson. I think the realistic median outcome is Devin Booker.
I can see that.
Great shooter, can score really well. Could be a 25 to 30 game guy with 5 or 6 assists. Play makes well. I think he has a little more athleticism than Booker.
I think he has athleticism. It's just the injury has derailed.
The injury concern also was there for me as well with Peterson. My decision there.
I will say this: I originally had Debanza 1, and then as I was literally writing all my stuff out, I was like, I just can't take away from the fact that somebody shoots 47.5%.
Too.
Yeah, like it's just so critical. And I think the thing is, he's doing that on like 65 to 75% max. I don't even think he's shown everything yet because he's not been healthy. And I think
Probably.
Kansas is just so desperate for him to be on the court. They're like, hey, we need you to get on the court so that we can win basketball games.
Which brings me to my this week's We Love Drafts game of the week. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, we got Kansas at home against Iowa State.
No way. Iowa State, Kansas? Is this the early?
This is what time is it? It's like at 7 o'clock or something like that.
I'm locked in.
I don't have the
be
time
in on
with me.
that. You don't even have to like. You're 2 for 2 so far, just simply because like the first game was so damn good that like it doesn't matter what you say for the rest of them. But like the second game, Texas Tech, Houston.
I didn't look at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
You saw
I
that.
Stopped looking at tomorrow. I was like, that's it. That's the one. Darren Peterson playing against that defense. Assuming he plays.
I'll be curious.
If he doesn't, I'll find another one.
If he doesn't play, you get a mulligan. Like I told you, you have like 100 mulligans off of the Virginia game. So like,
I want more random one like that again.
That game was so good, and it turned me into a Virginia Tech fan, and they've
wildly
just
disappointed.
Terrible since.
Yeah,
but I think that'll be a beautiful depiction of Darren Peterson because I do believe like what we've seen so far, he has not been 100%, and I know that simply because they've been to 2 overtime games, and he hasn't played the overtimes at all. He's played 30 minutes prior to the overtime, but he hadn't played the overtime, and it's because they're like, he ain't got it. He's literally putting heaters on both of his thighs, trying to like be capable to run the next game. Like, I don't think we've seen a full 100% Darren Peterson, and that's what scares me. Like, that's why I have him number 1 still is the fact that he's shooting 47.5%, 41.5% from the field at 65 to 75%. Like, if this guy is 100%, what are we looking at? Mm-hmm. Like, I think there is a reason that he was number 1 going into the year consensus based. I just think we haven't fully seen it yet. And that does scare me injury-wise because obviously as a Grizzlies fan, we never get to see our team at full health. It's always injuries. But I just think based on that, he can fit onto all 30 teams. And it doesn't matter.
For sure. He's awesome. I want to get real quick to my Debanza comparison.
Yeah, give me this.
Before I forget. Debanza 6'9", can do it all on the court, does a little bit of everything. I view him as a 2-guard at 6'9". This guy was a 6'8" 2-guard, could score a ton, out-of-your-seat highlight plays, could get to his spots on the court. Tracy McGrady.
That's what I had. That makes me feel so good.
I think that's a home run of a comparison as far as...
He's better.
Like, McGrady, I'm talking like Magic McGrady.
Okay, not scoring...
Magic McGrady averaged 32.5 points a game one year.
Magic McGrady was stupid.
Yeah. I have been the second best player in the league one year. And I think Debanza, like, it's one of those things like, in out-of-your-seat highlights, like we see McGrady throw the ball at the backboard and dunk it.
You're going to get that.
The Spurs game with the 9 points in 30 seconds. And McGrady also averaged 2 blocks a game one year with the Raptors because he was a 6'8" guard. And his ability to defend that position and just wreak havoc with his length at that position can be insane. And I view Debanza, that's another thing is Debanza's defensive impact. I think he has more potential there than Peterson does. Though I don't think Peterson's a bad defender at all.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just think, again, injuries have derailed Peterson's college season. And I do believe that's going to be concerning. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Peterson's going to be the surefire number 1 pick in the NBA draft. I just think there's going to be a team that's like the Washington Wizards, for instance. They're going to look at there and they're going to be a Trae Young, Trey Johnson, AJ Debanza, Alex Sarr. That's a lineup. They're going to be like, that's an upgrade over Bilal Coulibaly. And I like Bilal, but they're going to look at AJ Debanza and be like, he's heads and tails above anybody we have on this team. Like, we're taking that guy. There's going to be a bunch of teams, excluding a couple, that are going to be like, we're taking AJ Debanza. We don't care.
You want to talk about the Grizzlies, who are about to move off of John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr.? You want to put butts in the seats? Go take AJ Debanza, and you're at that same level of electricity that John Morant was having, but 6'9".
You can pull up the text. I said trade and make sure you get all first 30 picks in the NBA draft to ensure you have number 1 overall to take AJ Debanza. I texted you that. He's legit. And I think the only reason I didn't have him number 1 was due to the 3-point shot. I think the NBA has gone so much back to the fact that you're a 3-and-D. And I don't just believe that Debanza is going to be a 3-and-D guy. I just think Peterson is the prototypical, you're going to score the bucket.
Yeah, he is.
He can get to anywhere, and he's not even 100%. Like, I know I've said that like 3 or 4 times now. He's ridiculous. I've only watched like 5 games of this dude. Granted, that's probably more than everybody else has watched because he's only played like 5 or 6 games. But
yeah,
he gets anywhere he wants.
Yeah.
And he scores.
And I know they're averaging the same number of assists or close to it, but Debance's playmaking have another step ahead of him as well. Peterson kind of just, he gets your standard assists. He gets because of the amount of attention he's drawing to the 3-point line, especially.
Correct.
Debance's potential as a pick and roll ball handler, I think, is very intriguing. We could debate this all day.
We could.
They're both home run picks.
Yeah.
They're both all NBA guys, I think. And this,
what was the game that Debance had that lob to his
Clemson.
Center? Yeah, that game alone solidified the fact that he is a top.
They went down 20 points at half, and then it's like that's when everything clicked for Debance, I think, because I think he said, "All right, enough with fitting in. I'm going to take over this game. I'm going to go win this game," and he did.
He said, "Screw it, I am this team,"
and he just took over. I was like, all right, this is a dude.
Yeah, he's legit. Yeah, I think you come away in this draft with Debance or Peterson, you're going to be a happy camper for 10 years.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy if I'm taking the number 2 pick right now, so the other number 1 team can make the decision for me.
That's fair. Like I said, I think at the end of the day, a lot of NBA prospects come down to NBA team fit. Like obviously, if you got a guy that has some personality issues, I'll say that much. If he gets to the NBA and he's on the Miami Heat, those personality issues are fixed immediately because the Miami Heat have a culture that is, I don't care what you say, like the culture has worked for years and years and years. Spoelstra has built it into that
Has
team.
there been a practice this year for them where Kasparas Jakučionis hasn't gone home crying? I don't think so.
I saw a trade where the Grizzlies get Jakučionis, and I just don't want it. I texted you this. I said when I saw the Kings said the only way we do a Grizzlies Ja Morant trade is if we give up DeMar DeRozan, Devin Carter, and picks. I said Devin Carter and picks, both. Please.
You're still that high on Devin Carter, and I love it. I loved Devin Carter. He hasn't done anything in the NBA.
It's because he ain't on a Memphis Grizzly yet. Cooper Neal has not bought his jersey yet. That's why he hasn't done anything in the NBA. That's why.
Sure.
And he's on the Kings. Nobody cares about the Kings.
That's
like
true.
Leah told me the other day, she goes, wherever Ja goes, I root for. I said, you ain't rooting for the Kings. I promise you ain't rooting for the Kings. The Kings fan don't root for the Kings.
I think you'll be a Buck.
Dude, if we get Ryan Rollins, I don't care. If you give me Ryan Rollins or Devin Carter in a Ja Morant deal in the year of 2026, I'm all for it.
I think it was Hollinger or Harrington that wrote, like, the Bucks will have serious interest because Giannis will want them to add another star.
And Ja is a star.
And it makes sense because they can actually match the salary and give a compelling offer to the Grizzlies. But you can never discount the Vivek Ranadive and the Sacramento Kings to do something weird and stupid.
It'd be so dumb. It would be so dumb. Ja Morant and Zach LaVine on the same basketball team is horrible basketball.
To me, when I looked at it, I was like, would it be just a Ja Morant for Zach LaVine straight swap? I think that makes some sense for both sides. Levine's contract expires a year earlier. That's the entire benefit for the Grizzlies. But I also think he has the potential to recoup some value through play because he shoots the ball well. He can score the ball. Maybe someone will be interested in that.
He just doesn't play defense. That's the only downside of Zach LaVine.
No, he'll help the Grizzlies tank.
Which I've told you, I want AJ Debance. So come on.
Yeah, I've said it for a long time. No player is better when their team is down 30 points than Zach LaVine. No one. He does not miss when his team's down 30.
When his team's down 30, he's 100% of the floor.
He might be the primary reason they're down 30, but once it gets there, he's going to make that a 20-point game.
The amount of Zach LaVine highlights when his team is literally down 30 is beautiful. I don't understand why any team has ever played Zach LaVine. Like, Zach LaVine is always going to do what he does, and that is play awesome for a losing team. He is a losing basketball player. I mean that in the nicest way.
Has he ever won a playoff game? That Bulls team made the playoffs.
I think they made the play in.
No, I think they're the 6th seed.
I
think they were a 6th seed.
I got it. Hold on. This is the type of things that you and I care about. Or Zach LaVine. Seeing as he's about to be a Memphis Grizzly. He was an all-star in 2021 and 2022. Let's see if those teams.
Look at his playoff stats.
They finished 11th in the NBA Eastern Conference, and then the 22 team finished 6th. You were right. And they made it all the way to
They were out in the first round.
Eastern Conference first round. They only won one game versus the Bucks.
I stand corrected. He's won a playoff game.
I don't know if he won. I don't know if he played that game. I just know that the Bulls, like the team, won that.
He was on a team that won a playoff game.
Let's see.
Check that win. Surely Levine just like went for 40 or something after going for 6 for 25 the game before.
He was 7 of 13, 3 of 4 from 3 for 20 points. DeMar DeRozan had 41 in that.
That's
game.
right. That was a DeRozan year where DeRozan was just crazy good for the Bulls.
Look, I will say this. The reason I'm really high on the job for DeMar DeRozan, Devin Carter in a first, or pick whatever they call a pick. I love DeMar DeRozan on the Raptors. I've always had a soft spot for DeMar DeRozan. Do I think he's a championship caliber player? Not really, but I like him. I really do. He gets to his spot on the court and he does what he does best. That's always been his MO in the NBA. And he technically makes significantly less money than Zach LaVine, which is why I'm okay with that because he's on the team for a year and then he's gone. I don't care about that because that's an expiring contract.
Yeah,
the Grizzlies
I prefer that.
Destination spot.
If you got an expiring deal, get all that money off the books. Awesome.
Yeah, because
if all the job Jade becomes is let's just get this money off the books, that ends up being a win.
We're good with that.
And you probably get something nice back for Jaren.
Yeah, something.
I think he'll fetch a lot of picks, similar to like Bane, where like a contending team would be like, I think the Pistons, people have said, would really love to replace Tobias Harris in their lineup with Jaren Jackson Jr. next to Duran. It would be like Tobias Harris, some other guys, and then you throw in. And if you're the Pistons, you're a good team, so you throw in however many picks you want.
You give me Tobias Harris and Jaden Ivey, I will hand
it could, you. I think Jackson Ivey Jr. was listed in it.
I will hand you Jaren Jackson Jr.
There's unfortunately a reason Jaden Ivey's just being dumped into trades. But
injured. He's been injured.
He's been injured a lot.
So is Ja Morant.
So is Ja Morant. Welcome back, Ja Morant.
But I will say the other rumor I've heard a lot is the Trailblazers, and
for Jaren.
No, for Ja, and we get Scoot and Jeremiah Grant.
Jeremy
Grant. I don't know why I said Jeremiah. And I don't hate that either.
I don't hate it.
I don't love it, but
I don't love it.
I liked Scoot. I don't think I liked him as a winning player.
He has not been that great. So
he's also been injured too. So we're talking about two guys that have been wildly injured. And Devin Carter, I know you mentioned he hadn't done anything in the NBA.
He's had injuries. He's never gotten to play because it's also the Kings.
And the Kings suck. And the coach for the Kings is
the Kings hate playing young. They hate playing young players. Like Keon Ellis has been maybe their best player besides Sabonis the last 2 years.
And they don't play him.
And it's like, well, he's your best 3-point shooter. He's your best perimeter defender. So what's the deal?
Yeah.
And it's like, and the Kings fans are like, we don't know.
Yeah.
We truly don't.
Remind me that it's Doug Christie, isn't it?
It's Doug Christie.
Yeah. He's auditioning and trying to get another job. And the problem is most coaches believe that their audition to get another job is by winning basketball games. And so therefore they play veterans, which is exactly what Pete Carroll did for the Raiders. I mentioned to you that I didn't know necessarily how long our top 10 would take, but I had the Raiders' entire offseason planned. I did like 7 mock drafts trying to figure out what was going to be available. And Pete Carroll, who is now no longer the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, did not play young guys, despite the fact that they had like 10 picks the year prior. But I think that's for another day, another time. Obviously, you got our top 10 from Jared and I today. It's probably going to fluctuate, not necessarily the top 5. The top 10 will probably fluctuate here and there.
Yeah.
Definitely mine will, just because I gave you the guys that I've watched and I really fall in love with. Hans Steinbach is not falling out of my top 10. I'll guarantee you that. He'll definitely probably move up the ranks. But we gave you what we got for now. Well, obviously, I think you and I both told each other we're going to come up with the top 30, probably even more than that at some point.
Probably cut top 30. I'll have it. We can post those on Twitter, or we can do it as a podcast, whatever we want to do.
So we'll definitely keep coming with more. He mentioned Twitter. Jaret's been doing his best to post every day about the games to watch and the players to watch and each game to watch. But we're also in the time of college basketball season where every game is a game to watch at this point. So
it's hard for me to build up the energy to post about like 7 and 9 Portland and their 2 freshmen that are, they've looked good. But while
you do that for me more than you do for everybody else.
I do it for the love of the game. No one else really wants to know about Joel Foxworth, but
except for me.
Except for you.
But I appreciate that. So yeah, we got the Twitter. The shorts have been coming out on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram as best as I can get them. We're gonna eventually. I know I mentioned this like the last two podcasts. We're gonna eventually have the drafts with probably a trailer-esque short from them, and the full video posted on YouTube. But
we
all
got a
that's
Grizzlies.
coming.
We got a Grizzlies 10-man draft coming eventually.
Eventually.
When I'm done editing it.
Look, we're two guys having fun. We love talking sports. We love talking college basketball, college football, drafts, all thing together. Obviously, the NFL draft, the top, I believe, 22 picks are solidified so far based on the wild card weekend. Beautiful wild card weekend. I know we haven't talked football at all, but I texted our group chat. Some of the best games, excluding the Patriots Chargers, some of the best games I've watched in the NFL playoffs in a really long time. So obviously, we'll talk probably more about that in the next podcast when I come back with a full. We're going to start doing full offseason previews for certain teams. But I think that's all I got. Jaret, it's good to see you. I will talk to you later. Peace.